Jai Shri Radhe. Sab Vaishnavam ko Jai Shri Krishna, Sananda Saprem Sananda. Jai Shri Krishna. Continuing with the Vartas of the 252 Vaishnava disciples of Sri Gosaiji. It's day 230 and Varta 237 and 238. 237. The story of a king whose queen wished for the merit from filling Sri Krishna's water jug. The king and queen are both devotees of Rajasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, their names are Hari Devi and Hari Priya, the queen. These two also have two Sakhis named Bodhini, the merchant, and Prabodhini, his wife. They all manifest from Justwant and are thus personifications of his divine loving sentiment. Part 1. The king and queen were both Vaishnavas, as was their daughter. The king wished to find another Vaishnava king so that she could be married to him. He did not find such a Vaishnava king and invited him to come there. He did find such a Vaishnava king and invited him to come there in order to marry his daughter. That king set out to come there. The princess sent some Vaishnavas on ahead to observe the condition of the other king's Vaishnava dharma before he arrived. When the king saw the Vaishnavas approaching, he was overjoyed. He forgot all about the allotted time for his marriage to the princess. The auspicious time expired, however they were able to arrange another auspicious moment. They were married at that time. The king took the new queen home and the two of them served their own Sri Thakurjis separately. The king suggested that they serve their Sri Thakurjis together and the queen agreed. They began to make Seva together. The king had another queen who came to see this Vaishnava queen and said, "I spend all my time enjoying my luxuries whilst you are engaged in this hard work 24 hours a day." Due to the company of this other queen, the Vaishnava queen also began to wish to enjoy some luxury. She expressed her wish to the king. The king said, "Okay, but first do one thing. There is a merchant Vaishnava living near here. Go to his house and place there a large pot for water and come back with their payment for that pot." The queen did so and then went to the merchant's house and said to him, his wife, "Please give me the water pot so that I can take it and fill it up for your Sri Thakurji." The merchant's wife gave her the water pot. She went and filled it up and brought it back. The merchant's wife then took one small jug out of it for her Sri Thakurji's Mangala Seva. The queen said, "Please pay me for the water you have used." The merchant's wife replied, "First have the holy sight of my Sri Thakurji." She did so. The merchant's wife then addressed the queen. "Please take every single thing that we have in our house, but it would still not be enough to pay you for that water." The queen said that she would ask the king's advice. She asked the king and he said, "Please try to understand what exactly is the merit earned by filling his water pot and making Sri Thakurji's seva. Now do as you please. If you wish to serve and fill Sri Thakurji's water jug, then do so. And if you wish to enjoy worldly pleasures, then do so." The queen said, "I would definitely prefer to continue to fill the Lord's water jug." From then on, the king and queen served their Sri Thakurjis and they began to grant their direct experience. Bhav Prakash. This tale teaches us the true form and value of Seva. There nothing anywhere in all of the three worlds can match the value of Seva. The Vaishnavas must never stop Seva to their beloved Lord. This tale teaches us the true form and value of Seva. There is nothing anywhere in all of the three worlds that can match the value of Seva. Vaishnavas must never stop Seva to their beloved Lord. Thus concludes Varta 237, the story of the king and queen who were recipients of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and accomplished Vaishnavas. Varta 238, the story of Prithvi Singhji, the son of Kalyan Singhji, the king of Bikaner. Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Rajasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, his name is Prabhavati, who manifests from Shruti Rupa and is thus a personification of her divine loving sentiment. He was born to Kalyan Singhji, the king of Bikaner. Even as a child, he enjoyed the company of saints and sadhus. Such holy men came from all over the country, and he loved to meet with them. When he ascended the throne, he made his first trip to Gokul and Mathura. When he came to Mathura, he asked of a local Chobe, "Please tell me about any great holy person whom I should meet." The Chobe replied, "O Maharaj, there are many holy men in Vraj, but in Gokul there is Sri Gosaiji. Sri Vatannaji, he is well known. Many great kings, saints, and holy souls, highly qualified persons and masters all bow down to him. It would be good for you to meet him." Prithvi Singhji came immediately to Gokul. At that time, Sri Gosaiji was performing his daily prayers on Sri Thakurani Ghat. The king caught sight of him and had the vision of him as a highly effulgent and divine being. He was overwhelmed by this experience. He thought to himself, "Up to this very day, I have nowhere seen such an effulgent being in this whole world." When he had finished his prayers, Sri Gosaiji looked towards the king. Prithvi Singh Ji prostrated before him and said, "O Maharaja Adiraj, please make me your disciple. Today my life will gain purpose." Sri Gosaiji blessed him by initiating him with the Lord's name. He made him fast for a day before initiating him with the Brahma Sambandh. Sri Gosaiji addressed the king, "O king, please now return home and perform the Lord's Seva." He granted the king the Swarupa of Sri Balakrishnaji and taught him how to serve. He blessed him, "Neither time nor this era will ever obstruct you. Sri Thakurji will remain always before your eyes." The king returned very happily to his residence and began to serve the Lord lovingly. Part 1. Prithvi Singh Ji composed a lot of poetry in varied poetical metres such as Kavit, Savaiya, Doha and Chopai. He also wrote 2 treatises named Rukmini Bel and Shyamalata. The king's mind never ever strayed away from T. Thakurji. His mind and heart were so absorbed in him that his interest in all worldly matters totally disappeared. He did not even recognise his own queen. He was thus immersed in his seva, and if he ever had to go out and about, he kept his mind attached to the beloveds through Manasi Seva. Once when the king had travelled out, his kingdom was attacked by an enemy. The enemy surrounded his palace. Sri Thakurji himself engaged in battle with them for 3 whole days. For those 3 days the doors to Sri Thakurji's temple remained closed and no one could open them. On the 4th day, when the enemy had been routed, the door opened. This king, although abroad, got to know of this through his Manasi Seva. He wrote a letter to his minister, who was most surprised to read that the king knew everything that had happened even though he was away. In this way, Prithvi Singh Ji was greatly graced by Sri Gosaiji and an accomplished Vaishnava. Once, the emperor summoned Prithvi Singh Ji to Delhi. He came there wearing his tulsi malas and his tilak. When the emperor saw his devotional attire, he felt happy and remarked, "Look how much faith he has in his guru." The emperor told the king to go to Kabul to engage in battle. King Prithvi Singh thought, "My death has been predicted to occur on such and such a day, on Vishram Ghat in Mathura. What should I do?" He placed his mind and heart at the lotus feet of Sri Gosaiji and left for Kabul. He engaged in a battle there for several days and then sat on a female camel, who carried him back to Mathura in just 2 days. There and then he did indeed cast off his mortal coils. The emperor found out and lamented, "Where will I ever again find such a great king?" Bhav Prakash, this tale teaches us that everything and anything can be achieved by one who has perfect refuge in their guru. Vaishnavas must always have total and perfect faith in their guru. Thus concludes Varta 238, the story of Prithvi Singh Ji, king of Bikaner, who was the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to his tale. Aaj ke Anand ki jai. Concluding our reading for today. At this point, Sab Vaishnavan ko Sadar, Sanand, Sadenya, Saprem, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Shri Vallabhadish ki Jai, Shri Gosaiji ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.